Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello.
Good morrow.
It's Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, different times elsewhere. I have only had enough coffee to be mostly polite, so we're rolling into it. And today I've got, yeah, right? Typical Allison. And today I've got with me the amazing Andrew from Gayties Toys.
Oh, hi. I've got my prep and my poppers, and I'm ready to go.
Huzzah.
Huzzah.
And all the way from Planet Fabulous, we've got JanessaJaye.
Hello. Hello.
And we're gonna color shit today. Right?
Yes.
And I picked Rainbow Bright giving an award to Sprite to her Sprite Twink because it seemed in line with today's thing.
Yeah, for pride, those twinks.
Yeah, you know,
Demon twinks.
Love them or hate them, we can't survive without. I mean, who do we gossip about if not for twinks?
Fair.
They show up everywhere, whether you want them or not.
Yep.
The only time I've ever gotten into a fist fight in a gay bar, it was with a twink, and like, I probably should have watched my mouth, but whatever. I think he ended up enjoying it, though. I don't know.
Maybe
sometimes. I think so. I probably made his night because he certainly was unpleasant and didn't go home with anyone. So anyway, that's quite, typical twink. It's like 50-50. Half of them go home alone and cry.
That's just math.
It's just math. Science, industry, people not hooking up with twinks. Really quick. Hello, Nolan. Good morning. On that note. Hello, Mint with Card. Good morning. Happy Sunday.
Hello.
Hello, bunch of twinks.
Good morning, Brennan Barnes. Yep. Go take care of your doggy. Sight Beyond Sight. Hello. Oh, I have a special moment, Sight Beyond Sight, because last time Janessa was here, there was a moment that you particularly loved, so I loaded this one with you in mind. It's a little lengthy, but everyone will appreciate it, especially if you're around in the 80s.
I haven't made up my mind yet. Incidentally, which one of you bitches is my mother?
Anyway, there we go. So you've got your somebody calling somebody a bitch moment, Sight Beyond Sight. I want to make sure you got that today because last time, whenever I dropped the line, that bitch has my toy. Sight Beyond Sight really enjoyed it, so I just had to make sure we had an epic bitch moment this time too. Like, how can you not? Phoebe Cates. Good morning, CJ. Lovely to see you.
Good morning.
And hello, Rowdy Riles. Welcome. Rowdy, we still need to figure out how we get you on here, whether we pre-record or not. Because
how she hasn't is beyond me. I'm like, what?
I know, right? No, it's Rowdy has like a late night job thingy, so it's like she's basically not going to bed after work so that she can pop into chat. So, because she's good people. Oh, we love to have you in the replay, and I'm sure this one will be particularly unhinged, so there will be good stuff for you.
Yeah.
I was on a live stream with Dave and Dre on Friday night, and they were talking about how wholesome and friendly to the entire family my content was. And I'm like, let me caveat that with, except for the live streams.
Yeah,
except for the live streams. Everything else is pretty. Everything else is pretty all ages. The live streams, it just, yeah. And then I was like, I'm going to have drag queens and Andrew, and we're going to obviously trash talk some people. And Rio wanted to really say, hello, Miss J. So.
Hello.
And hello,
I'm coloring
Kenny.
Gem
Hey.
today.
Ooh, Gem. You know, she's
Yeah, we're doing
totally
a little
outrageous.
She
Yeah, I
is.
forgot. I know the theme's sort of like more girly things, but I'm doing like McDonald land because I'm just like,
Oh, you're doing
I'm,
Okay, so this is my mean girl face. But I was also very unpopular and picked on in high school. And in high school, me and my friend used to refer to Grimace, some girls as Grimace, and it's because a Grimace is a girl who is skinny and pretty now, but in 5 years, 10 years, she's gonna look like Grimace. So,
you know, like a big
so
milkshake
we
or whatever the
reserve
hell he
that
is.
for cheerleaders, and most of them look like Grimace now. So you know.
I don't know why. Like, I've got this like weird like just crush on like the most random things like Tony the Tiger, Grimace, Garfield. I'm just like senpai, like waifu. They're my people.
I bet Grimace though is a very tender lover.
I think so.
I bet like he's
And if
very
he's like,
thoughtful.
he'd be at like Barracuda, like a go-go dancer, just like big bear type, like just giving her like on the speakers, and I'm like, yes, Grimace, we're queen.
Yeah.
And I'm a big girl in a purple dress, so I'm definitely giving some Grimace vibes. If I had a purple wig on, it would be the whole package.
Yep.
Have you ever done Grimace drag? That would be epic.
I have not.
You
I've
should
done
get
actually.
Oh, sorry.
I have done. What is this? I used to work at McDonald's many moons ago for many years, and like I was Hamburglar when we had to go like to the kids' parties or like some kind of festival. So it's like 35 degrees out. And I'm in this like giant suit and a hat, and I'm like, and it's like minimum wage at best, and I'm like, what have I done to deserve this?
The closest I ever came to working at McDonald's was one time when I had, after a party, when I'd had too much to drink. Me and one of my exes ended up making out in the ball pit. So
It smells like
there were
pee.
lots of balls flying at me that night.
Yeah.
Yes. I hope you actually burgled those people. I hope that when they made you go as a Hamburglar, you were taking like tchotchkes from the den.
Oh, totally. I'm like, rubble, and I just take their wallet. Like,
Yeah.
suck it.
I always wondered though if that's why the Hamburglar was like if he had to steal because nobody would hire him because like of his speech impediment.
Yeah, it's also like there's a bit of a tricks rabbit thing happening there where he's like, I'm so hungry, just give me a sandwich. And they're like, no, you will starve. And you're like, this is not.
Pull yourself up by the bootstraps, Hamburglar.
Apparently.
and then he steals other shit, and they're like, I don't understand why this guy is such a criminal. It's like all you had to do was feed him. Exactly.
Just wanted a damn burger.
He's the criminal you made him be.
Well, and then they made all of the hamburgers cops and mayors and shit. Like,
yeah,
the one thing he loves in life is 5-0 now.
What I have here, yeah, I've got like Mayor McCheese in there, and then like the pirate guy. This is pre-Birdie, I think. So
yeah,
that pirate dude, nobody liked him.
I mean, he's less annoying than Birdie, though. Ugh.
She's like the one chick, and you're like, is this all we get? Is this it?
And Birdie was like Timu Wendy's girl.
100%.
Like the pigtails and the attitude with none of the like sass to back it up. Mm-mm.
Teens with attitude.
I remember when she debuted, I was just like, what is this? No.
I remember like I got it. She's like the early bird, so she gets the breakfast, and I'm like, yeah, but
that's what it was. It was a breakfast. Was it? No, it wasn't the Egg McMuffin. It was they did one of their new
breakfast. Like they never did breakfast at all. So like she kind of kicked off the whole thing.
Okay, because in America, the United States, we had breakfast all the time. Because when my mom would babysit for my friend Jennifer, because her mom had a job. And my mom could not read. No, I'm just kidding. She could read. She was just a high school dropout.
Beauty school dropout.
But that's what Jennifer's mom would bring, the big breakfast from McDonald's. She'd bring 2 of them, one for my mom. And because my mom was That was my mom was anorexic, so that was her entire food for the entire week was that big breakfast. And
Which is, I mean, it's not unwrong because it's like I remember, when I was like a little death twink myself, and I'm like, must watch calories, maybe, right? But I remember looking at like the actual caloric intake of like most fast food breakfast places, and I'm like, that's your daily allotment, and so you really got to kind of commit to it.
Depending on what you're doing, right? Like, there's some
Yeah.
people where it's like, it's definitely your fat and carbs for the day. It's not necessarily, like a fast food burger is like 600 calories. And if you have like most people should be, I say this as somebody with an eating disorder that I'm recovering from, who has spent a lot of time with nutritionists. Most people should be having 1,800 to 2,000 calories a day. The problem is most people make the caloric side of it okay, but it tends to be the fat and the carb side of it where we overdo the fat and the carbs.
But that's delicious.
I know, right? That's how it tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
But, so technically you could have McDonald's and be, I can't even say, it's a tongue twister, and it triggers all of my psychosis. Fit and thin.
Damn.
There we go.
Putting you through it today.
I'm gonna drink after this.
You're like, let's bring up your trauma. Happy Sunday.
Oh, I would not have a live stream if I didn't bring up my trauma regularly.
Fair.
It's like Carrie Fisher says, if my life wasn't funny, it would just be true. But yeah, so anyway, you could eat McDonald's 1 meal a day and have fries and a burger. You just have to be really low cal at everything else. So moderation is your friend, peeps.
Yeah.
Moderation, we don't know her.
I met her once and then we got into a fist fight.
She doesn't even go here.
Was she a drag queen that was like booed off stage? They're like,
yeah.
Gets up there. She's all like, okay, kids, only 2 drinks tonight. And they're like, boo, get out of here.
So since I have always thought, and I'm not going to be the one to do this because I don't want to get canceled, but I've always thought we need a drag queen called Miss Appropriation, and she could have she could be super white and have like dreadlocks and wear like a like a kimono.
I think in like the early 2000s that would totally work, but like maybe less so now.
Yeah. Even if you were doing it as humor, I don't know that it would play, but. Anyway, so misappropriation. If we all travel back in time to 2005, we will make her happen.
Mm-hmm. I am excited by Joe Fest yesterday. They had Fresh Monkey Fiction showed off their Cops bulletproof figure, and they actually said we're going hard on this, which means we're getting Misdemeanor. It's also an incredible drag name.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm in. Like I haven't bought a new thing in a while, and I'm like, this is it. This is going to be it.
That's cool. Like, I would buy Misdemeanor.
She's very
also, speaking of, we need Missy Elliott action figures, people.
Yeah, we're Super 7 with that. Like, come on.
I don't know. It's a good question. Like, where's my salt and pepper? Where's my, La Trim? Well,
actually, they did make salt and pepper.
They did. That's right. I need to buy those before Super 7 crashes and burns.
I have so many opinions on that.
We will hold those until a different time because
we have another live stream coming that may answer some questions.
We can tease that. Wednesday night we'll be convening a special retro cavalcade where we talk about our favorite musician, people, action figures we want. And we will have special guest Kyle Wobegon. Is that how you say it? Kyle, I would like to buy him now. That guy, formerly of Super 7, will be joining us as a guest. So we're going to talk music figures. And we're not going to, unlike some live streams, we're not going to grill him for trash talk on Brian Flynn. But anyway.
Name names and do it.
Yeah. Say it. Just say it. Eat the cookie.
Say it. Call them out. That was truthfully, that was kind of one of the stipulations. I'm like, hey, it's me. Do you want to come on? Well, we don't rake you through the coals. And he's like, yeah.
I know. I told him it's like we will talk about it however it's relevant and however you want to talk about, but I don't really care. And it's true. I kind of don't. Like people complain about like Super 7 or whatever, and I'm just like, well, don't buy this shit then. Like,
It's a shocking thing. I mean, I remember like even the heyday when they were really kind of pumping out like every month. They're like, here's like 5 waves of Ultimates, and I'm like, that's not I mean, like really, like mid-pandemic they were going hard, but people were like mad about it. They're like, it's not articulated, it's not this, it's not that. I'm like, it's the Masters of the Universe style, and they just kept going with it. And if you are into that, go off this. But I mean, if you're not, then don't. Like, it's a really simple, elegant solution.
Well, and then people would say stuff. This may be the only time we ever get this figure. It's like, oh well.
Yeah.
Save your money.
Yep. Stop buying that avocado toast. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps.
You can save that money, sir, and get your back waxed regularly now.
Yeah. Or just go to the casino
I will
with it.
say the one time I said that to a guy in chat when he was whining about Super 7, he did not appreciate the sentiment. Apparently either he's attached to, well, I mean, literally you are attached to back here. So science. But at the same time, he did not like that.
I don't understand why it seems like now with fandoms, it's all about we have to hate everything that we love. And so every time something new comes out, then we have to be mad about it. We have to hate on it. And nothing is as good as the original. And I don't like that.
Also, it's very teams based. So, I mean, like the next month, we've got Fantastic Four versus Superman. Both Marvel and DC franchises are very struggling at the moment, to say the least. And everyone's like, you have to pick a side. I'm like, do I? Like, can I just watch the movies?
I'm just going to watch what
Can I just watch the movies? Like, yeah, like Jesus. Or like, if it's that big of an issue, don't go. Like, don't go.
Don't go, but also, I don't want to hear about why I shouldn't go.
Also, big that.
I will say, though, anytime someone tells me something is woke, I'm like, you just guaranteed I'm going to go watch it. Thanks.
That's right.
That's what I want to see. Oh, my God. Black people, queer people, people who aren't white, cisgender, heterosexual men with too much audacity and not enough to back it up. I'm in.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
I'm really concerned about Hamburglar's eyes, but well.
Well, Jem is going through some things.
Well, she finally can no longer balance Rio versus Jericho.
Yeah, we tried to do her lips and they got a little bit wild. So I was like, she's having a hard day. We're just gonna, it's Pride. She's been through a lot.
I love the clips and even like the coloring page that Allison did recently where it's like Jem's putting on makeup and I'm like, it's a hologram. Like, that's the point.
Yeah.
Like, what are you putting on?
You say recently, I did that over a year ago, but people, like, it's almost to 10,000 views now. It's my least favorite Jem and the Holograms short I've ever done, and it's my big, it's literally like when Sheryl Crow used to complain about, like, all I want to do is my least favorite song on the album, and it was my biggest hit. It's like, me too, Sheryl Crow.
Yeah,
although I love that.
It's like, me and like Dungeons and Dragons, like that video is like vastly my most popular. And I'm like, I phoned that in so hard. Like, I just did not care.
Close up on YouTube. Like, all right, really quick, we're behind on chat, and I'm gonna.
Oh yeah.
It's just this is what happens, y'all. You know, especially when it's Andrew, myself, and with JanessaJaye. Hello. The topic is Haiti, and we're talking about some little party. Let's see. There we go. CJ. Okay. Hello, shiny plastic people. His wife is a proud graduate of Cheeseburger Community College. And then this is accurate, CJ. Birdie is cousin Oliver syndrome. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, Bradazzle. Welcome. Welcome. Oh, here we go. This is a good point meant with card. As toy collectors, we left moderation behind. It's true. Yes, you do, Chris Plastic. Pass it on. Let's see. Man, with card, I'm only doing the cheaper versions of Thundercats. Oh, and that expensive bear bill. Well, everyone should have at least one bear.
Yeah, I love them.
And then CJ wants Will. I want the Willow too, to be honest. Hopefully, she'll look good on my female action figure line. And Chris Plastic, the rebel he is, has tickets to both Superman and Fantastic Four. So.
You have to pick one.
Yeah, Chris, you can't like both of them.
I'm gonna spam you so hard.
We're gonna give you swirlies in the bathroom at school tomorrow. That's what it reminds me of, is like being in junior high. It's like always in junior high with these fandoms.
Yeah. It's also, I mean, like the okay, this thing sucks. It's the, I mean, Marvel and DC, well, I mean, especially Marvel, they've always kind of goaded DC a lot into a competition. DC never really kind of responds. They're just like, yeah, you go do your thing, boo. But like the fans kind of picked up on that, and then it's like it became, especially with the MCU, where it's like experts or fans on Marvel who've never read a comic are like, like it's got to be this or that. And I'm like, let's.
My favorite was, and how you could tell who had actually read the comics and who only knew the movies, was when they announced She-Hulk, and they were like, "Oh my God, She-Hulk is woke."
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're like, what?
What garbage is this? How dare they? We don't need a She-Hulk. We've got Hulk. This is woke. DEI. It's like literally, she's had more ongoing series since 1980 than Bruce has, and people like her. I don't know.
Yeah, her books are actually funny.
Does anybody actually like the Hulk, or do we just think we like the Hulk? Like,
I think it's, yeah. I mean, I get the whole, I'm angry and so I'm going to, like, you know, smash shit up. I'm like, yes, God, like the fantasy of it all is very real. But I mean, I've never read a book, and I never will.
Right. I mean, like, we all saw the show because my mom was always waiting for Lou Ferrigno's the pants to rip, and they never did. She was disappointed always.
She's like, let me see that green tea.
Yeah, right? Is everything bigger when he's a Hulk? It's like, well, sadly, no. That's how steroids work, Mom.
I think it gets smaller. I think that's part of the rage. I think that it just gets smaller.
How the blood goes to his brain, Mom.
Also, I mean, if you like dating someone who's like 6'5" and has like a more than average wiener kind of thing, I mean, like, still the actual proportions of that make it look smaller than it is. Objects in the mirror are smaller than they appear.
He's average when he's normal size when he's Bruce, but whenever he's the Hulk. Oh, I'm sorry, David.
Oh, right.
David Bruce Banner. Anyway.
Hated that.
I'm convinced that that's the only reason why anyone even likes twinks in the first place, is it just looks bigger next to them. And so, like, the proportions, because otherwise they are insufferable. I said it and I meant it.
The only, okay, so, yeah, right? Exactly. Well, they always make you look like the better person, too. Like, you can say the most horrendous shit at a bar, and then some twink, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're a bitch. And then a twink comes up and says something, and everyone's like, oh my God, never mind, you're Mother Teresa. I know, right?
Pretty much. You're like, see, I'm not a monster. And they're like, wow, two things can be true at once. Like,
it's like, how did that twink insult the entire population of Earth and then scam us all for free drinks? It's like, I don't know. It's the magic of the twink. Like, it's just,
yeah, like, where did my drugs go? Oh, the twink has it. And you're like, what?
And then they're like, you know what we need right now? We need a dance club version of Hotel California right now. And then suddenly it happens, and you're just like, I don't understand what happened here.
Yep.
It's that they have that like 10-year period where they're like valid as twinks, and then it's over.
I
so
think
during
10's
that time they're like super magic.
10 is generous. I mean, you got like 18 and a half to 25, and then you're effectively dead.
To be ageist. I'm trying not to be ageist to the twink.
Let me tell you, that's the aging out of the twink is one of my favorite things in the world. I have someone who's 42 in my life who's always trying to like call himself a twink, and I'm like, is the twink in the room with us?
You're like, where's the twink?
Where are they buried?
The cops? Is he in your trunk?
Honestly,
I think the expiration date has passed for that a long time ago, my dear.
Yeah, I'm sorry, honey.
It smells like sour milk in here. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I probably just had 3 twinks who unsubscribed from the channel. Oh well.
Yeah.
Good riddance.
The only people who are more self-loathing than myself are twinks. So
Yeah, I've
I
got to
like
go.
just-
I've got Pride coming up here in Toronto this week, so I've not seen a twink in the wild in probably about 12 months, like minus a week, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta, I gotta brace for this, y'all.
Yeah, you need to like totally. And they're gonna be super unhinged this year. I just feel it.
Also, if Grindr's any indication, I guess I'm a daddy now, and so that's
Oh.
also going to be very annoying to me. So
You also have a job, so they're gonna see you like you.
yeah,
Like you're gonna have like one of those little coins on top of your head, like you're in a video game to them.
the Mario break apart bricks, just like boing,
Yeah.
coins come out.
And they're like, let me squash that mushroom.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm a toy collector. I have no money. Trust me.
Hello,
I have
Triple
crippling
P.
debt like the rest of you.
Perfect. Sounds good. Let me know. We'll make that happen. Exactly, Mint with Card. I try to like. I've got a very varied audience. Like I've got all kinds of people watch my show. I try to make sure we get like Oh, probably Nick Nolte in general is what happens to the Hulk whenever the Hulkness is done. Like we've all seen that mugshot. Hello, Todd. Welcome. Hello.
Hello.
Feeling good, Todd.
I will say I read some of the Planet Hulk stuff, but I just read that because there was a red Hulk. I've never read a Hulk for a green Hulk.
No.
I mean, he might be there, but it's always because like there's this cool thing happening over in the Hulk, and you get there and like, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, sure.
let me do that. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do this pumpkin now. Oh my gosh. There are people who will stumble upon this stream later and be like, oh my God, my ears. It's like, yes. Yes. Yeah.
Some people are not ready to hear the truth.
Not everyone
Yeah,
is ready. I don't think you're
The truth
ready
is
for
out there.
this jelly. It's a little spicy. Yeah. I've got you guys. If this is not your flavor and you're watching, it's okay. Like next week, it's just me coloring some Harley Quinn in hot pants. And the week after, Brick something and I will be here doing Battle of the Planets and nerdy manga stuff will happen. And I think next Friday, yeah, it's next Friday, Cobweb Collector and I doing some Motu. So I got you all covered.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a one-woman TBS. There's something on it every time. Fair is fair.
That's
Yeah, I
right.
saw Brick's going on for Battle of the Planets. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I've never actually watched a single episode, but it's like, it just looks cool. Like the costumes are cool, and like I don't know anything about it.
The American version is a little rough. You'll want to find, it's like, I think Gotcha Man is the original name of it in Japan. I watched, of course, the American version as a kid. It hit during the Star Wars phase when everyone was rushing to get, space stuff on. So I remember watching it for that, but it had Princess and she was pink and had a bird and she spun really fast and had powers and stuff. What else do you need, frankly?
True.
So, and the color, I finally found the coloring book on eBay that I've been trying to get for years now. And, it was the same one that, like, I don't know if this happened in Canada or other parts of the country, but where I grew up in the South, like often for school, you would have to bring a coloring book. So on rainy days, you had something to color in. And for like 3 years in a row, because we got no, Kenner didn't release any coloring books for the first Star Wars in the United States. It was all in like Canada and Australia and stuff. Other than Dip Dots, go watch my Dip Dots videos, y'all. Anyway, but so I had the Battle of the Planets for like 3 years in school, like as my desk coloring book. And I was looking through, I filmed the flip through of it this week. And I gotta say, like, there's some terrible ass art in there. I'm just like, ugh, poor me.
I got to suffer
The
through
struggle
this.
was real.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna have a hard time making shorts and videos out of this color. I'm like, thanks a lot, Whitman from 19.
Or you got to fix a lot of things, which is also like very problematic because you're like nothing. None of this is finished. None of this looks good.
Yeah, there's a lot of lines. So not everything has to be content. Said nobody ever in the modern age. But I've got it. I've got it mostly figured out. Well, I mean, what's it? Oh, wait. Let's see.
What?
All right. Hello, Boba Hicks.
Hello.
Oh, chat is blocking up on me again. All right. Well, I see Boba Hicks in chat. So hello, Boba Hicks, for whatever reason. That thing is happening where it won't.
Uh-oh.
And she left.
Oh, bye.
Bye. It's been a slice. The only one who can actually color is leaves, and we're like, oh no.
Yeah. And I get weirdly into it. Like I'm super like focused on I've got to get this coloring done. And then it's like, no, you're here just to hang out.
I know, it's that thing where like I'm just like literally like you can see like just the top of my head like leaning
Yeah.
over, and I'm like, I have to get this burger
There
just
we
right.
go.
Like, hey.
And I'm back.
Welcome
All
back.
right. Sorry about that. Well, you know. Oh, because she can't read, you know. There we go.
So now
Hello,
I don't
Boba
hear
Hicks.
you, Allison.
Oh,
I
Really?
see
I
you.
can hear her.
Oh.
hello. Did it work?
There we go.
Excellent.
I can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Oh no. Oh.
I'm just isolated in my own little containment.
You're right. You're like, I'll just talk to myself. It's fine.
All right. Is it working now? Can you hear
I can
me?
hear you.
No.
Nope. No.
All right. Let me try something really quick. Oh, we lost her. There we go. How about now? Oh, we lost her. Audio.
No, I don't hear anything.
I can hear you.
Yeah, we can both hear you, but there's something
Oh, I hear Andrew.
Okay.
that's incredibly odd.
Yeah, that is super odd. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh.
Should I
StreamYard.
leave and come back?
Let's try that really quick and see, because that's odd.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give that-
I'll be back.
All right. Watch out for snakes.
There's a snake in my boot.
Uh-oh. And Chris wants you to just pass message. Oh, that would get
Which
unhinged.
is
That's a good idea, but no, that
let's
would.
play broken telephone right now. I'm like, she said you're a bitch. She storms off.
She says nobody likes you. And Moby is her favorite musician. There we
You're
go.
like, you get out of here.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm back.
You're back.
I can hear you.
Huzzah.
Yay.
Thank you, StreamYard, for being stupid and making everything awkward and weird as always.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
StreamYard, you're Carl number 8.
I'm fully expecting to be kicked off the StreamYard like any second now for no reason. It'll just crash. It does every time. So
Yeah, right? Exactly. Well, that's what happened. I was trying to pull up Boba Hicks to say hello, and it was not doing anything, and then it was like, something went wrong. And I'm like, you bitch, it was you.
it's a you problem, not me. Like you fix
Stop
it.
dragging me along with your problem, StreamYard.
Drama. God.
And you wonder why people are deserting you for Streamlabs.
Mm.
Because you're
That
bringing the
toxic
drama.
friend is like, somebody got really drunk and messed the place up. And it's like, you bitch.
Yeah.
That was you.
It's like
My
my
favorite
entire
is when
university experience.
My favorite is when StreamYard is like, your internet connection is very unstable. It's like, girl, that's you.
Yep.
You.
Don't
Because
blame
everything
my
else,
problems.
everything else full stream, baby. Anyway.
Mhm.
All right. Oh, hello, Stanley's Toy Channel. Lovely
Hello.
to see you.
Oh Lord.
How are you? It has been forever, sir. I'm glad to see you today. Hope you were doing well and enjoying your Sunday and hang out with us. Exactly, Chris. Exactly. It's not as bad as OBS. That's what Chris uses, y'all. It's so terrible. Anyway, but he loves it, so that's okay. That's his cross to bear. When I was a kid, when people would say cross to bear, I thought they were saying cross-eyed bear, and I'm like, that's kind of mean. And I also thought they meant this girl that lived down the street. So anyway, you make the joke, the rest of the joke from there.
They kind of do, actually. Like, at least in Toronto in the 80s and 90s, cross to bear was something nurses said about young sluts quite a bit. So some procedure they had done, let's just say. So that was their cross to bear.
Oh, sucky.
Done. Okay. YouTube did not like that. I was like, we're not talking about it. We're just talking about it, okay?
Ooh. Okay, Chris. Okay. Well, at least Chris can self-deprecate. It's better than self-masticate. Is that what you call it when you chew yourself to death? Yeah. Anyway. I was watching a cooking show on YouTube. Speaking of mastication, I was watching a
how does that
cooking
come
show
up in conversation?
YouTube. And instead of, you know how like there's the thing where you oh god, let me find the exact word for it so that it will be better. So there's macerating where you cover fruit and sugar, right?
Oh yeah.
And but she kept saying masticate, which is to eat it.
Youch. You're like, girl, no, don't.
Like, so she kept telling people, chew your fruit and then bake it into a pie. And I was like, ooh. And then people were telling her that in the comments, and she was digging. No, that I know what words mean. I'm like, you don't.
You don't, though. You don't.
You want to macerate. You don't want to masticate your berries. I mean, or maybe you do. I mean, allegedly for many years, Alicia Silverstone chewed up her kids' food for him.
Oh.
I know. It's like, Alicia, really? As if.
Like, couldn't you be normal? Like, couldn't we have one normal?
She is not. I adore her for like 3 years in the 90s, but she is not normal now. There's something that happens when you have too much money that you'll never be able to spend where you can believe stupid shit.
I want to be that person. I want to go there.
Yeah, I would take that on.
But then the poors think that they too can believe stupid shit, and it's like, you're just gonna die.
Yeah, there's that too. I mean, the two extremes are never great.
It's truly not. Anyway.
I'm trying to figure out like Mayor McCheese's skin tone, like his bun skin tone. I'm like, this is complicated.
Oh my god, yeah. There are so many things I wanted to just say that I didn't. You're all welcome. So what you're gonna want from Mayor McCheese, you've got fancier pencil crowns now, right?
Finally, yeah.
All right. Do you have a light yellow?
I have like an ochre. I think I might throw on top of them.
So if you have a light ochre and a really, really light brown, I would do the ochre first, really lightly, and then very lightly go over it with like a tan or a light brown. And that might help get that bun look. Because if I were going to do it, I use Prismacolor sand, then light umber, and then I would go over that with like probably deco yellow. So, but I also have I need to at some point figure out how to send you some Prismacolor in Canada. At this point, it's rude for me not to just gift you a set of coloring pencils. I mean, I can't give you the full set because Prismacolors are effing expensive. But
Also, I mean, I'm very much in that kind of colorblind sort of area where I'm like, it's green. Or some people will be like, no, it's actually
yeah,
more blue. I'm like, you're wrong. It's green. Like,
exactly. So I will.
anything in the teal kind of family, I'm like, don't ask me. It's like it's
At
either
this
blue
point,
or
you're
green.
almost like, as much as I have you on the show, you're practically like an employee. So I might as well figure out how to get you a set.
I could
think
just purchase a set. It's
Yeah,
fine.
right. You could, but you know, like, are you going to use it outside of hanging out with me on Sundays?
Probably not.
Yeah. Oh no, guys! I almost just slipped into vocal fry. I apologize in advance if it happens.
I don't have any like skin tone markers, so they're all very tan, and I'm just outlining them.
That's kind of all you can do sometimes. That's the one thing I used to hate as a kid about markers. Yeah, everyone's orange, and we
They're
can't have
like
that.
Yeah.
George Hamilton.
Or you didn't get orange at all, and you were like, what the hell? Like, can I get like one thing?
But I remember as a kid, like, I would try to use markers for strawberry shortcake, and Crayola didn't have anything. They had like red, blue, green, yellow, black, and brown. And it would annoy me because my mom would be like, just use the red for her hat. And it's like, it's pink. It's pink, mama.
Yeah,
It's pink.
You have to go like super light with the red marker. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the year that, and Crayola, you know, like Crayola markers, no offense, not the best. And then the year
also they give you like
they
give you like a brown too, and you're like, okay, this is like I guess everybody else then. Like it's just one brown. You're like, well, that's it.
Well, and then like in 1985 they released the pastel set, which had like pinks and purples, and that was the year I got my She-Ra coloring book, and I'm like, oh my god, I can do She-Ra right. But then realized I wanted something better than Crayola, and I'm like, I'll just find the right art utensils and color this entire book. And 30-40 years later, I'm finally got around to that on the internet. So never lose your dreams, kids.
But if you were in school, Crayola was the shit. Like one time my mom bought me rose art, and I was like, why do you hate me?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, when I first moved to Oregon, I bought rose art from Kmart. So that, because I was working on character designs and stuff for a story. And I was like, $15 for all of these. It was like 200 pencil set. I'm like, wow. And then I was like, this is why. This is why. I think I still have those somewhere. I should do a stream where I sacrifice those. Barbecue them.
I just remember we'd get, I don't know if this was in the States, but we'd get like a big flat plastic bag that was clear, and it would have like, 6, 8, 10 huge coloring sheets. Like these were like 3x2, feet. And they would give you like, basically like 4 markers. It'd be like, maybe like red, black, blue, and maybe green or maybe yellow, just depending on what it is kind of thing. And these things were like pencil thin, like Q-tip thin basically, and like if you use it for like 3 seconds they'd be done. And I was like, well, this isn't really like, this doesn't really go, does it? They give you like a Ninja Turtles one, and like they wouldn't give you green. I'm like, okay, like what are we doing here?
Absolutely they did. So 3D Star Wars coloring poster from the late 70s, early 80s. Look.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Red.
Almost horrible pens.
Yellow. Blue. And then some sort of thing to blend them, I guess? I don't know.
I mean, truthfully, though, for Star Wars, like, it is one of those things where, like, unless you go to Tatooine, which is, like, beige, I mean, those are all the other colors you need. Like, there's a lot of black, a lot of red, a lot of white. A blue lightsaber, you're good. Like, that's the movie. Like, that's the Death Star color scheme.
Yeah, right? But, yeah, it's just weird, like, collecting all those old poster sets. It's like,
Sigh.
Why, Becky? Why? That was almost my punk band. Why, Becky? Why?
Why gotta be like that? I'm just trying. Mayor McCheese is busy. I'm just trying to figure out.
Well, he's busy
Complicated man.
oppressing. He's busy oppressing McDonald's lands. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm. He's a Mayor McCheese for the people.
I was watching a documentary the other day, Andrew, and they were talking about how bad the RCMP, is that what you call them? The Royal Canadian Mounted Police? Yeah, RCMP. And how lazy they are. And I was just like, oh.
Yeah, the cops are much better here. I'm not gonna. You're not wrong.
So you guys have healthcare, but
yeah. And I think we finally did kind of chase them out of Pride. We're like, we're good. Like, we don't need you no more.
Yeah. I'm on board with the no cops at Pride. I
never liked it. No.
It's creepy. I don't like it.
I think I think when it was like, say, parents who were cops at Pride, like that, I think felt different for me, because it's like, we're here to support our kids, like that kind of, I was like, that's doesn't feel weird. But when it's just, but it also feels equally weird when like Citibank would just be there to be there. It's like,
yeah,
girl,
when it
how many
turned corporate and it became like family friendly, like we're there for like a parade basically, and I'm all like, we're not. This isn't a petting zoo. Like, just like beat us.
Yeah, that was. I remember the one year where people were like, "I want to bring my kids," but it's like, well, those dykes on those bikes, were here first. And
exactly.
If your kids can't handle a dyke on a bike, maybe you should just go home and watch Glee.
Yeah. Oh my god, and it's the pup masks with the leashes that are triggering everybody. And I had like a TikTok kind of go a little bit viral for me, because I usually get like a couple hundred views on a TikTok or whatever. And it was just a quick little thing. It was the song was Lily Allen, Fuck You. And it was the little like, no one wants your opinion. Oh, fuck you. Yeah. So it's like a 9-second video. And I had put on there, I was like, when people say that there should be no kink at Pride and everything needs to be family friendly, 32,000 views. And let me tell you, the white gays were after my ass in the comments. They were wretched. They were feral. They're like, children need to be protected. People shouldn't be having sexual activity at the Pride. I was like, nobody's having sex at the Pride Parade, Brenda. Calm down.
This isn't fulsome. Like, calm your tits. Like,
it's a costume. Just get over yourself. And it's like, well, I'm not comfortable around that. Then stay home. Bye.
Yeah, please do.
Oh, it was like 3 days of madness. My phone was just like going off.
Yeah, and just sort of get the whole like, but I'm an ally, and you're like, thank you for your years of service. I don't know what to tell you. Like,
who gave you that title?
Yeah,
that part.
Because there are a lot of self-professed allies who like get really mad when you push back. And it's just like, well, unless somebody from the community bestowed those flowers and a crown upon you, that's not real.
Yep.
And so. Dykes on bikes. Takes me back.
I love dykes on bikes. I get so stressed about. I get very stressed about color choices. I'm all like, Mayor McCheese's pants must be perfect. I don't know why.
It's, in the very beginning, I would get really stressed because, like, I was afraid people would leave shitty comments on, especially the shorts. And like, oh my God, how come you colored him the wrong color? And I do get that now. And I'm just like, it's called artistic liberty.
Yeah.
Like I dropped a Vader short. One of the Vader coloring thing I did on the long form video, I shortened it into a short and dropped it. And somebody's like, why? Why did you make him purple? And I was like, well, actually it's blue. So you might want to get your eyes checked. And two, like, this is how they did him in the comic books in the 80s. Because, like, they used black ink and he would have got lost in the sauce. It's just really weird. And then somebody from Germany, like, sorry, you have no room to be on here. annoying me.
Mhm.
On one of my Swiftwind shorts where I colored Swiftwind in toy colors and pink, dude was like, I hate that you in German. So I had to translate it because my German is super rusty. I know how to ask, like, I know how to say I live around the. Ich wohne gleich um die Ecke. Wie geht es dir heute? Wo ist Monika? So I know how to ask for Monica, say I live around the corner, and hello.
Where's the bathroom?
Today. Oh no, you just pee wherever in Germany.
Fair.
Wo ist mein God?
But anyway, he was like, I hate that you did this. How, he is supposed to be a white Pegasus with a unicorn horn. And I'm like, not the toy, sister. And but I had to translate it before and so I did it in English because I know that's gonna piss him off even more. So
That's the worst when you translate your own insults. Like,
I know, right? And then it was just like, I hate this. Why did you make him pink? I'm like, sir, you're gonna have a hard time when you realize that Mattel wrote Swiftwind and Spirit as if it was a girl. It was Filmation who made Spirit and Swiftwind a boy. He was a girl in Wave 1 Toys. Sit with it. Anyway.
Yeah, that's also like when they were going to do the Whispering Woods playset, and Light Hope was also like a very literally statuesque woman kind of thing,
Yeah.
and you're like Mattel just did not care. Like they were like, we do our own thing.
Well, Light Hope appeared. As spoiler alert for a future She-Ra video, but I believe Light Hope sort of evolved from the Wave 1 mini comics. Had a character who showed up in the Journey to Mizar called the Wizardress, who is this golden wizard lady who gave She-Ra like a map and a magical net. And then later in the Hidden Symbols mystery mini comic, she showed up as the Seer. And she was like this very tall, purple robed lady with like a glowy head. So that Mattel toy looks like they took the two concepts and meshed them together with Light Hope. And it makes sense because you could still get Wave 1 She-Ra. You could order Wave 1 She-Ra, Wave 1 Catra, and like Bo, Angela, and Glimmer, and Cal through the end of Wave 3. So all of those were available for the full length of the toy line. So there were, and Angela and Catra came with the Journey to Mizar coloring book, mini comic. So that Light Hope from the playset is sort of taking all of those and combining it with Filmation. So anyway, when people get weird about stuff like that, it's like you have to also understand Mattel was trying to like tie all this shit together and basically make toys out of everything they'd shown in the mini comic. So anyway, there's your
and a lot of this all comes from a time when, like, I mean, now if I hear one more chin beard from Iowa, I'd be like, is it canon? Is it canon? Like,
right.
they didn't give a shit. They were just like, let's make a comic, and people weren't talking to each other, and there's 15 different versions of everything, and everything overlaps. And
even like He-Man isn't really canon. I mean, like it's got so many versions, even early on, even before the cartoon. I mean, there's no like one thing you could point to and be like, that's He-Man. I mean, he changed constantly.
Well,
like,
even with the cartoon, like not everyone got all of Filmation. Like Filmation ran for 2 seasons, but the way those the packages worked for the franchisees, you would buy a package of episodes, which might only be like half of season 1 or season 2 only. Like so there were areas that didn't get anything from season 1 or only got like half of season 2 or whatever. Like I don't think people understand not every market got every episode. So like, you know, as a kid there was stuff you just didn't see, and then some markets would get, you know, the franchisee package for season 1 of He-Man, but they never bothered with season 2. So they just kept rerunning season 1 for years until, you know, their license ended. So like it's, as far as even Filmation, the fact that, you know, like, is it canon? It doesn't technically, not everything applies because not everyone got all of the episodes. And it's, you know, not it happened also before every household had a VCR. Like, I think people don't understand, at least I can't speak for Canada and I won't, but like in the United States, we got our, and my dad was making really good money at this point in time. We got our first VCR in 1983 and it was like $600. In 1983 money, like $600 today for equipment is a lot of money. Like, so in 1983, they eventually came down to like 150, 200. But not everyone had VCRs until like 80s. It wasn't until like 86, 87 that they really became sort of affordable. Which is when my brother and I got one to share for the bedrooms.
Yeah.
So like, I don't think people, so we had a lot of He-Man stuff because my mom would record it every day for us. But not everyone had that. So like, I think
also, I mean, Filmation was not terribly continuity focused. I mean, you might, anytime the sorcerers did any kind of like history lesson or origin style thing, like you might get some like backstory on things, but like by and large, Marlena, same thing. Like, but I mean, you didn't really get any kind of through line. It didn't matter. Like, there was like 1,000 different races on Eternia.
Right.
Like,
well,
nothing mattered.
Well, it was kids stuff. It wasn't even intended to be, like Lee Scheimer and Filmation had no concept that 40 years later, people would still care about. He was often later in life when he would go do stuff very surprised and honored and grateful that people still loved what he did. But nothing, like anything made before, like before 1986, 87 was made with sort of this idea that once it's not on the air, it's just gone. Yeah. Like if a show did really well, it might get syndicated, but like otherwise, when it's done, it's done. That's why movies used to get remade. And it wasn't as big of a deal because some movies would be really old and you couldn't see them ever again unless they remade them. Like you didn't re-release movies. There was no home video. Not everything got sort of sold to, be on TV for the late night show or the Sunday night movie or whatever. Immediate change. So it's like, now Hollywood kind of needs to pick up on this and stop remaking everything because they haven't quite picked up on the fact that the reason it used to work in the past was like not everyone had access to all this stuff. Like case in point, Wizard of Oz, like for a long time you couldn't see the Wizard of Oz. And then it became this thing where every year it came on television. It was this big deal and your entire family would gather to watch the Wizard of Oz. And they didn't even release it on VHS until like the mid to late 80s. And still, because VHS was so expensive, it was still a thing on TV until like the 90s. So again, like media in our lifetime, and I think, a lot of fans sort of forget, like this stuff wasn't made with a canon where it's like 40 years from now, people are still going to be sticking to this. It was made like the canon needs to be consistent enough so that kids don't pick up on it for the next 2 years while they're watching these cartoons that we're trying to sell these toys for.
Yeah.
Honestly, like that's all it is. And frankly, still that's all there is. I mean, like it's people might sort of try to like be like artistic integrity. Like, I mean, no, like not everything's an Andor. Some is just trying to sell toys. That's fine.
Even George Lucas, like why do we get Ewoks in Return of the Jedi? Ewoks were far more marketable. The original idea was that the Return of the Jedi would take place on the Wookiee home planet. And then that changed because I think, Lucas by that point understood the marketing of it. And it like Lucas made way more money and probably still to this day is making way more money off of licensing Star Wars than anything else. So, less important than how many people are going to see Star Wars at theaters or watching Star Wars is how much money Star Wars brings in as a licensed property. And I think a lot of people get caught up on, the toy lines aren't doing very well at all. It's like, perhaps not the action figure side of it, but like, there's still like Star Wars soap and Star Wars this, like it's still sells. People are still buying Star Wars. like it's really easy, especially among toy collectors, to get really focused on like the toys that we collect, the action figure side of it. But Star Wars is so much bigger at this point as far as merchandise and outside of the US as well. So like we all have a sort of, even myself at times get a tunnel vision about this because, you know, like we all censor ourselves and it's fine. Like, but ultimate, you know, like the Disney Plus shows aren't doing as well. It's like Disney Plus shows just need to do well enough for the licensing and stuff to continue. Like,
Yeah.
there will never be a time where you're not making some sort of money off of Star Wars in some capacity. So, anyway. All right, dang. Sorry, guys. I know, but again, this is Andrews and JanessaJaye both. I'm super happy to forget you guys and talk to them. All right, let's see. We'll start. Let's see. This is a good one. Chris Plastic. Will this administration ever bring the Hamburglar to justice?
He's got a full pardon.
Is that? Oh, that's pyrokinesis. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So this is where I last checked in. Okay, there we go. I heard he was a virgin who can't drive. Oh, wait. Wait, Chris.
Oh, I love Brittany Murphy.
Who can't drive. You're a virgin who can't drive.
Here we go. I'm prepared. Thanks. Thanks for setting that up, Mint with Card. I appreciate you. Mint with Card will be here next month on a Sunday. All right, everyone just having fun doing the chat. Okay, that we're ignoring them. So CJ is going to steal your idea because CJ is amazing. CJ does great art. Find CJ on Blue Sky if you're on there.
Yeah, I've never did the Blue Sky.
I haven't either. It's too much like Twitter. Like, I wish somebody would do a replacement for Facebook, because if I could get rid of Facebook, I would be so happy. But it's still, as terrible as it is, it still doesn't have a match in terms of like promoting events. And so for drag shows and stuff, I have to stay on Facebook, but I would love to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And I never liked Twitter. So then when I saw Blue Sky, I was like, oh, this is just a new Twitter.
Yeah,
I like Blue Sky.
I did get rid of Facebook. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say I do like Blue Sky because it's like old Twitter, and they block people. Blue Sky blocks all the right people.
Yeah, like it's got really content moderation, but it's still just Twitter.
It is, but I mean, I think Twitter is really handy for some things. It's never been particularly handy for me, other than like yelling at celebrities and politicians.
I used to yell at Delta.
Oh.
That was like, really, that's one of those things that if you are having trouble with Delta, if you are in the airport, the little service desk, don't go there right away. Start yelling at Delta on Twitter. And then eventually someone will contact you through your DMs, and then they'll give you information to take to that little desk.
I will say I have two like peak moments on Twitter. First was the time I told James Wood he couldn't act his way into a paper bag, much less out of one. Also the time I was like, how does it feel to know that Sean Young outacted you in the boost? Think about it. Sean Young outacted you. That was the one that got me blocked by James Wood. And then there was a time Christy, Alley, and I were throwing down for a few days. And I'm like, you know what? You're irrelevant. You should just drop dead. Anyway, so I got the last word there.
Yeah.
Because literally
and that's all that matters.
3 days later.
The like, very last word.
And I'm going to say, getting the last word is very rewarding sometimes. And that was one of them. I'm like, yes, the last word. Haha. Anyway. I'm just going to say, like, she was Thetan level 10. And if you're a Thetan level 10 in Scientology, you not only purposely sound like you have a lisp as a Thetan level 10, but if you're good and you've done all of your lessons, you can cure yourself of any disease, including cancer. So anyway.
There you go.
Anyway, Christy, out.
Well,
Have fun in
guess that
space,
didn't work out well
girl.
for you. With Xenu or whoever.
Yeah, Thetan. I mean, like, I can't even say it because it just sounds like you're lisping Satan. I'm sorry. It's a thing. Anyway, that was top tier.
Not today, Satan.
Yeah, not today, Thetan.
Maybe tomorrow, Satan.
Tom Cruise shows up at your house. Like, I heard you wanted to join. No, Tom Cruise. No.
No.
But there's a couch
Stop
over there.
DMing
Go
me.
jump around. Anyway.
God, he will never
Right, so
recover
I
from that.
finished Twink.
Twink.
I know, right? And I do have a lisp that I have worked really hard in my life to. I used to sound like Cindy Brady when I was a child. And so, like, it makes it even worse whenever you're arguing with somebody about whether or not they're a Thetan or not. And I'm just like, lisp is back.
I remember, like, my parents sending me to, like, a speech therapist, and then, like, it took, like, 18 years later. I'm like, just gay. Sorry about it.
Okay.
I got sent to a speech therapist for a while, but then I stopped going because apparently I got into her head. So I was a little bit of the bad seed if you're familiar with the movie. I didn't like throw kids into like a pond and let them drown or anything like that. I was a little timid. I was timid, I wasn't able to fulfill my dreams. But like, and the first time I got fired by a therapist, I was like 10. And they were just like, we can't help your child anymore. You need to find somebody else.
You need Jesus. And you're like, oh, God, it's come to this.
As they're taking me out, I'm like, look at them. And I'm like, to the lamb still cry, Clarice. Anyway, I wonder whatever happened to him. Probably dead.
Probably did.
But yeah, no. So I fire therapists now all the time. I lie. My last therapist lasted a really long time, but then he had to leave the state.
The charges kind of stuck, I guess.
It was pandemic stuff, and it was rent in Portland, Oregon was super insane. It still is, but when like half of your clientele is gone because like their insurance won't cover, and it took a while to kick in where you could do telemedicine.
Yep.
If you had insurance, like I was paying out of pocket because I don't need the insurance company to know how what I'm capable of, basically. Because they can petition those records at some point. They don't need to know. Let them be surprised. Let them find out like everyone else. No spoiler alert for you, United Healthcare. But anyway, but he moved to Colorado, and even though he did telehealth, while he still had a office in Portland, in Oregon, we could see each other because of his license. But once his license expired and once he no longer had an Oregon address, he couldn't. I mean, he's of course gotten his stuff there, but it's time for me to find a new head doctor. It's good to change it up every few years.
True.
Or you can just do like Linda Blair in the 80s and get a skin tight leather suit and a crossbow and just take care of it.
Right.
Solution to everything.
I mean, goals. I do kind of want a crossbow, though. I think it would be fun.
I mean, the 80s really taught me that crossbows are cool. Like between, like Scarlet and... Oh, God, who else? It was not Tiger. Who was it? No, the Thundercats didn't have any. One of the Sectors did.
Yeah. All of the Horde have those cool crossbows.
That's true, too.
Yeah, crossbow and leather. And although I will say that I recently rewatched Savage Streets with Linda Blair as an adult, And I'm like, I like my parents definitely were not in the room when I was watching this, and I can't believe, they just, oh, you like Linda Blair, okay, because I went through like a 2-year period where I wanted to be Linda Blair, and it wasn't because of The Exorcist, it was because of a horror movie she did called Hell Night.
Oh yeah.
It's one of my all-time
Remember that.
favorites. Linda Blair, her cleavage, and like a creepy old mansion with a slasher in it. Like it don't get no better than that.
Fair.
Parenting in the 80s was wild. I was going through some from a closet I was cleaning out. And in the 80s, I read all of those V.C. Andrews books. And my mom read them, and she knew I was reading them. And it's nothing but incest, like constant incest.
Yeah, I stole Flowers in the Attic,
Oh
Petals
my God.
in the Wind, the first 3 of the Dollengangers, however you say those stupid kids' names. Stole
Yeah.
the first 3 from her bookshelf. Read them the summer before 8th grade, and then when we were doing back to school shopping, after I was subjected to a JCPenney haircut.
Uh-oh.
But bangs were thankfully popular that year. I basically like Debbie Gibson. Look at the Out of the Blue album cover. That's what the bitch did to my hair. Anyway, it was very puffy and very bangy. And anyway, so we went and I got my Sweet Audrina and Seeds of Yesteryear.
Yeah.
And I remember this is how warped the VC Andrews thing. I was like, well, at least my brother's not hot, so I don't have to ever worry about that.
Yeah.
God.
But literally.
And they're so bizarre because I found out at some point she didn't write very many books before she died.
Mm-mm.
And then they just so like the Dollenganger series, they basically just patterned that and had they created a new set of characters and then a new location. But it was the same thing where it's always some poor girl who's happy.
Yeah.
But then she finds out that she's not really from that family that she loves. She's from this rich family, but they're awful. And there's always a mean grandmother. And then she always has sex with her brother. And then,
or they want to have sex, and that's how they find out.
yeah, like they're usually dating before they find out that like she comes from that family.
Yeah.
But then they have sex, and either like they try to resist and give in, or he rapes her, and then eventually she gets pregnant and has a daughter. And so then like the 4th book is always the daughter, because then the main girl dies. And then the 5th book is always the old lady.
Yeah. Okay. So again, this is at some point my book club channel will launch. And when we reread all the VC Andrews, I'll have you back for at least 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
Virginia Andrews wrote one, a sci-fi romance that is only available as an ebook. I have not read that one. I have a hard time reading anything on a computer that's a book. But so she wrote Flowers in the Attic, Petals on the Wind, Seeds of Yesterday, My Sweet Audrina, Heaven, Dark Angel. She was about 50% through Garden of Shadows, which was the prequel to Flowers in the Attic, and about 60% through Fallen Hearts, which was the 3rd book in the Heaven Castile series when she passed away. So they got a ghostwriter, Andrew Niederman, who finished Garden of Shadows and finished Fallen Hearts. She had outlined the rest of the Castile series, which was followed. It was Fallen Hearts, and then what was the next one? Next one I think was the one with the daughter, and that was not. I keep wanting to say Midnight Whispers, but that was the first series he wrote without her. And then the last one was Web of Dreams, which was the prequel about Heaven's mom and the evil grandmother and stepfather and stuff. And then the next series was the Cutler series, which started with Dawn, and that was the first one Niedermeyer wrote completely on his own. And he took the Heaven series, and that's what they cloned, because you can't really do incest with the incest books over and over with Flowers in the Attic, where the brother and sister do end up together, happy.
Yeah.
And you're rooting for them the whole time. Like they realized really quickly that the bulk of the audience for VC Andrews was teenage girls and gay boys, and the girls, the gays, and the theys, basically. And
Yep.
They were like, we want the freaky stuff.
yeah, and you know, like, but they also realized like we can't actually let her hook up with her brother in every book. What will Tipper Gore say? Anyway, so yeah, that's the story of VC. I should start doing drunken explanations of stuff. Anyway, so yeah, that's and when I launch my book club channel, we're gonna do VC Andrews and you're coming back. What pisses me off is I tapped out during Ruby, which was the Landry series set in Louisiana, because Niedermeyer clearly has never been to. I grew up in Louisiana and Texas, and spent most of that in Louisiana. I grew up on the Gulf of Mexico, and he kept we have a sandwich down there called Po' Boys.
Oh yeah.
And every time they would have a po' boy in the book, he would be like, we have these Cajun sandwiches called poor boys, where he would, and technically po' boy does mean poor boy, but nobody says it poor boy. It's po' boy, P-O. Even on menus, it's P-O apostrophe boy, you know, like, so it was clear he had done research, but he hadn't done real research.
Yeah.
So that annoyed me, and he kept sort of getting the names of stuff slightly off because he'd clearly never gone to Louisiana. I finished that series, but then I was done because it was so formulaic. She was long dead, and he wasn't that good. And I tried to reread one of the newer ones because they did more sequels to Flowers in the Attic, and it was bad. And then the sacrilege was he did a sequel to My Sweet Audrina, which pissed me off. Because My Sweet Audrina was the only standalone novel VC Andrews ever did, and it worked so well as a standalone novel. Like, it's my favorite book of hers because it's so it's like all of her stuff. It's twisted, it's horrible, it's gothic, but also very 80s. Like, I liked that she did like modern gothic. And I can reread all of the one, you know, like I can reread those first. The books that she actually was a part of or wrote fully, I can reread them, even though some of it's very dated and very, you know, sort of not appropriate for modern times.
Yeah. Were these in like grocery stores, or were they more?
They were everywhere
in a proper.
Store.
Yeah,
grocery
no, like
stores, gas stations,
bookstores. Like in America, I don't know what it's like in the United States because I need to get over the fact, like, America includes Canada and Mexico. In the United States, if something did really, really well, it was at like 7-Eleven. It was at the gas station on the counter. It would probably be in your airport at the little mini bookstore in there. But also bookstores like Stephen King, like whenever a new movie would come out and they would do the novelization, you know, with the movie cover on the book, you could get those at my first Stephen King I bought myself was Firestarter in 1984 at 7-Eleven for $5.99 plus tax. And because my stupid uncle was supposed to take me to see it, and he didn't because he went to his stupid friend's house and they ended up smoking pot and doing meth all night while I watched Poltergeist for the first. And I'm going to tell you, like, that's not a situation where a 10-year-old should be watching Poltergeist.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the next day I made him buy me Firestarter for $6 plus, you know, plus tax and whatever. Or I said, I will tell my grandmother what you just did. And then she will tell my mom, and my mom will tell my dad, and he'll kick your ass. So anyway, he's in jail again. He's in jail again. He's like 67.
We'll get it together.
He's never going to get it together because no matter how many times they arrest him for drunk driving, he doesn't have a problem. He has only been to jail. He's only gone to prison for one thing his entire life: drunk driving. since like his first time he went was 1987. What year is today? 2025? Yeah.
Not a problem.
Not a problem, because he thinks it's not a problem because he gets into jail and sobers up. And he's like, but I'm sober the whole time. I don't even drink the, like the prison hooch that they make. He's like, I don't drink that nonsense. But it's like, yes, you have structure, so you're not drinking. So, like, you do have a problem because, yeah. Anyway. He's not going to change. But he will
That's
die.
probably the healthiest thing you can do is actually being like, well, this ain't going to change, so I'm not going to stress about it.
Yeah, I went no contact with him decades ago at this point. It's just the rest of the family still fills me in. And occasionally I'll see him on Facebook being stupid and I have to, like, still not sober, I see. He just doesn't like that. Anyway.
Go figure.
Right. Oh, we were VC engines.
Yeah.
See, you never know where you're going to end up on an Allison stream. Drunk driving, incest, deranged twinks. It's like that Sandra Bernhardt clip that was floating around. I'll find that and stick that at the beginning of streams going forward. At least this time I gave Rainbow Bright her hair and I'm going to do her face. I tend to always do the face and hair and skin and stuff last, and then they look naked and weird, like aliens. So I'm going to do that first.
I always just like the outfits and the hair, and then I get bored, and then I move to a new.
It's kind of it's funny because in sort of all the vintage coloring books I have, that happens a lot. I've got one of the Gem and the Holograms, the one those pages are from. I've got like 3 copies of that one because it took a few to put together, and then I found it online at retroreprints.com with most of it cleaned up, and like the one he has is missing a couple pages. Luckily, those pages aren't colored in any of mine. But one of them, the girl obviously really liked pizzazz, or the boy. I shouldn't assume.
I saw that.
Every
pizzazz was like colored the hair green. Every one.
Yeah, every page of pizzazz, and like nicely colored green, like not sloppily. Like time was taken. So my money is on whoever it is probably a hairdresser now.
Yeah.
So again, it could very well just be a girl, a gay, or a they. So, I mean, Gem has a lot of that though. Like it's a very. I also though, like I've noticed a lot of straight heterosexual men of the '80s want that Gem doll. So let's not make assumptions about the Gem audience, because it's been really interesting watching dudes. You're like, I really want that Gem doll. Like, thank you, Gem. You're uniting the people.
I think, and that's some of the appeal of Gem, and it's also, I think, the appeal of Golden Girl, is that the 80s were so, like, bizarrely over-gendered, with just, like, the Barbie and the neon pink and just all of that, just, like, pink, 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 frilly, everything. And Gem, there was a little bit more of an edge, like with the makeup and the different kind of things, and Golden Girl looking like, a heavy metal magazine cover. And so I think there's something that's drawn to that for people who didn't want that like super saturated pink is for girls situation. And so I think there is like a certain audience for that.
I think there's like a lot of crossover with those too, because like Gem was on between 2 like boys cartoons. And so if you were there waiting for the next cartoon, you're like, well, I might as well watch Gem. And she was very like dialed into MTV and all that. So like there was some crossover there too. And I just feel like a lot of the boys were like it was there. It was on. I have fond memories of it. It's a thing that happened.
Well, also though, it's really hard to get that theme song out of your head once it's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a catchy song. Like nobody can argue that the Gem theme song is not one of the catchiest theme songs ever.
Yeah.
And the music was fairly decent. I mean, it's very repetitive. It's like 4 lines and it just repeats over and over. But like it was very well done, and the voice talent was very good. And
But I mean, how many episodes did they do of Gem? Like they did at least 100 or so.
I think it's like 85. Like I think it's not quite 100, but I think it's.
And I mean, every episode had at least 2 original songs. Like that's
Yeah.
a lot of music to write.
Right.
Yeah,
like,
it started
in a
to like
short
recycle
time.
a bit, but like most of them had new things, and not every song was a banger. But I mean, like of the ones that were, I mean, they're doing the Gem song. They had like Britta re-record some of the big songs, and I'm like, every week, I'm like, give it to me, I'll buy it from iTunes. I don't care.
I need them to have Britta Phillips re-record the entire Satisfaction soundtrack and just do all of it, including the horrible Justine Bateman songs.
All of it.
Her cover of Mr. Big Stuff in that movie is like my preferred version of Mr. Big Stuff. So I'm just saying, Britta, if you ever watch this, make it so.
If you stumble upon this somehow.
At one point I was hanging out with people who liked Galaxy 500, which was a band she was in for a while. And we were it was either when we were hanging out in Chicago or DC, and we went to one of their shows. I didn't meet her, but like she was in the bar, and because I was too shy, because I mean, oh my God, it's Gem and the girl from Satisfaction. But and of course now you look at her and it's like she's always been really good with Gem fans. I probably could have talked to her all night if I'd been like, oh my God, I love Gem.
You really could, because I went to that Gem Con that was in Toronto, and she couldn't make it, but Samantha could. Samantha Newer. Yeah. And like she was like, it was the weirdest con, because she was just like out there having lunch with people. It wasn't she was like in the green room away, like she was there. And then like we sort of got to talk to her throughout the few of the weekends. And then I think it was like Sunday night, she saw like, hey, we're going to like the titty bar, let's go. And we're like, woo, Gem, let's roll.
Well, and that's what's interesting to me about the Gem fandom. Like, obviously.
I'll be right back. I'm out of drink, but continue without me. I'll be right back.
That's what's weird to me though about the Gem fandom is they don't seem to have quite the level of talk. I mean, I've seen some like shitty comments like as they've unveiled the new songs, like, oh my God, the original was better. But like that's minimal. Like I haven't. Like, it's funny, you would not believe the amount of users on my Gem short that's done really well. The amount of users who have some sort of Gem username. Who are like, oh my God, have you seen that there's a new doll out? Like, who are just, like, excited about Gem and, like, just want to make sure I know there's a new Gem doll. And it's like, you just don't see that with a lot of fans.
And they're also, like, financially committed. Because, I mean, like, you look at like Integrity Toys, they couldn't stop. Like they were like, please let us stop making dolls, and they're like, more. So like they just kept going and going for like about as long as like Masters of the Universe Classics. Like I mean, they pumped out, and each one was very expensive. So it's not like
I looked those up, and I was very disappointed to see how expensive, and they've gone up on the aftermarket
quite a bit. I mean, you could sell like this thing. I had a bunch of them, and I'm like, I could have. Like a hostage situation, could have actually sold them. Like you can get, OG Gem shoes for $500, and people like her left shoe for $500. People would buy it. That fandom, they will like, and that's what always baffled me about Hasbro Super 7. I'm like, do you like money? Because you could just make Gem stuff, and these people will buy it. Like,
but to me, like what was really weird about. I mean, I get Hasbro. Like, Hasbro is so risk avoidant at this point in all ways. Like, they just... It's not that they're afraid of money. It's that they're afraid of losing any of the money. And like, because of that, they just don't take chances like they should. And I think... But I also am of the opinion that a lot of the... sort of what's going on with Gem right now is them testing the waters. I don't know how well the Super 7 reaction figures sold, but obviously the Loyal Subjects one has done pretty well. So I and just based on some of the teases on Classified, I would not be surprised if we start seeing some Gem 6-inch figures.
Which is all I wanted.
Which would be really easy if they, there are parts that they could reuse from Class. They could easily reuse a lot of parts within Gem itself. I think the problem is they probably aren't going to do soft goods mostly. And I think sort of rubbery pieces for some of those outfits would not work as well.
I've said this a lot on my channel where it's like, when a character has a dress, it's just like, ugh, like, what do you do? Like, what do you do? It's kind of like a bit of a pain in the ass.
And it's like at 6-inch scale, soft goods tend to work better than 3 3/4.
Yeah.
Soft goods at 3 3/4, you have to be really careful or it really bulks the figures up. But also maybe the problem is I don't understand the Gem fandom enough to know that if they updated the design so that they didn't have to have soft goods or like rubber skirts, if the fandom would understand that that was sort of especially when the Loyal Subjects are giving you like very accurate recreations of the original toys. So
with much more reasonably sized heads.
Yeah. It's funny, I found that that synergy with the Beatel body at that flea market by me. But her head is in amazing condition. I mean, the hair needs to be washed and combed out. But she's in really good condition. But I was looking at that and like the head is ginormous.
I remember like it was years ago, and I think it was like I forget her name, like Gem Girl Creations or something like that. I have to like find it, but she was out of Australia, and she made like all the dolls that were never made. She made, she sort of would do reroutes and repaints of the vintage dolls, and they all look really good. And I was all like, listen, like, and for like a reasonable price. And I was like, listen, give me a Gem. Like, I just want like a good Gem kind of thing. And I got her, and I was like, my God, her head is so huge. Like, it is alarming. Like,
it's hardly the body though, because I have a couple Darcy, which the body is Kenner Darcy, right? And and the Darcy head is abnormally large. I think it's just based on how that body is made and the proportions of toys. So, really quick. Hello, Alex. Speaking of bitches who got my toy, I did not get a Barbie She-Ra. It sold out while it was in my cart. But actually, Alex, congratulations on getting it. One will make its way to me at some point. It always happens. Hello, Oz. I hope you have been enjoying Joe Fest. He's out and about at Joe Fest. I've seen all the pictures. So that's exciting.
My nails are obstructing, so I'm just taking them off.
Sometimes you just got to take them off.
Just let the boobs out.
Now that I do my own nails, sometimes you just pop the shit off.
Yeah.
And so, I need to find a nail tech around here, but like it's just such a trust exercise. When I went to Portland to get my kittens, I tried to get in with my nail tech, and she's like, "No, we're busy." I'm like, "God damn." So, but I mean, she's good, so of course she's like just got.
Stuff. But I mean, like a lot of your channel is like, to coin a term, hand stuff. So like...
yeah, exactly. Like I have to. Yeah, exactly.
Because otherwise they will come for you and they'll say like, "Your nails
they
today."
Really freaking will. Like, well, that's part of it. I mean, part of that is in my head too, though, because I will watch toy videos where people do, like reviews or whatever, and yeah, they'll have hand stuff happening, and I literally am the same bitch. She's like, "Oh my God, why are you putting that fingernail on the internet for me to look at? Ew." So I'm super.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you hear someone like Dan Larson flub a word on his channel, and I'm like, aha! But I mean, meanwhile, I'm like,
You're not
every other
perfect,
word is
man.
like fully like my brain cooking. I'm like, what was I saying? Like,
Well, and it's we all have our little and like if there are some people who probably don't even notice it, but that's not me, and because it's something I do notice, like I can't make content where it's like it would have me in the comments like, bitch, what are you doing?
Well, and
But
I always from the twinks, I always get the like they watch too much Drag Race and they love Alaska, so they're like, if you're not wearing nails, you're not doing drag. And I'm like, listen, bitch, now, you come and do what I do for one day.
yep. Also, like the parroting of Drag Race, like has to stop. Speaking of death twinks, like stop it. It's like
mama work, cunt the who's boots down house. Oh,
yeah,
I'm so tired of it.
And a lot of it's like mug, and like a lot of it's like basically like industry terms, like people that like how drag queens talk to each other, and you're like, you're not in on the world, so like don't start, Becky.
just because you've watched 3 episodes of Drag Race, you don't understand.
No, sorry.
Did I tell you guys the story last? Oh well, I know that because Janessa was here last time on her own. Did I tell you, Janessa, about the time my friend and my then housemate, they did drag and we went to the club, and somebody read my friend and he had really short hair and he had done a curl and they were like, hey, Lisa Stansfield. And instead of losing it and crying like I would have if somebody had read me like that in a club, he started spinning like, I've been around the world, and started, and then of course they're like, girl, those are bad boobs. And to be fair, as he spun around, the boobs were spinning a different way, so like, fair.
Mm.
But he went on to move to New York and do improv comedy, so he survived.
No.
The thing is, like, about drag queens too, I mean, like, they say something mean to each other and all the fans get all up in arms, but I mean, like, if a drag queen isn't mean to you, you've got a problem. Like, you're in danger, girl.
Well, what's the saying? Reading is fundamental. Like,
apparently so.
Yeah, too many people seem to think that because like we drag queens are mean to each other, that's like an invitation, and it's like no.
This is how I explained it to somebody one time. It's like you hate your mom and you talk shit about your mom, and your best friends can talk shit about your mom, but the other person hanging out with you, if they talk shit about your mom, you're gonna punch them.
That's right. They're in
And that's part of TV and social media, making things accessible. It's good because people realize these things exist and are real, but then it makes it so accessible that there are people who are like, think that they can partake in things that, no, it's invitation only still.
And they think that it's always a competition and it's always there to be critiqued, and it's like that's not what a typical drag show is about.
No.
Typical drag show, most drag shows that I've ever gone to, it's like you're there, it's to have a good time. Frankly, when I go to drag shows and somebody's wig flies off, to me that's when the real show starts. Like, I like it when it gets messy and a little unhinged. Like I went one time and somebody was doing Reba, which I'm just gonna say, I don't care how old it sounds or how 80s or 90s or whatever, if you have an entire showcase of drag queens and there's not at least one Reba doing fancy, your show has failed.
True. With like the one thin lip on the top, yeah.
With the ridiculous giant mane, like that's what I need out of every drag show I go to. I don't care how basic that makes me.
It's fancy, or like was it like not Eye of the Tiger? What's the other one where she's like single mom who does 2 jobs?
Yeah,
that's that, like, I'll stop for that. Like,
yeah, there's a drag queen on TikTok who just constantly working that one, and Kris Jenner.
Yep.
Because there was that thing that happened, not like where the kids were all like, "You just got Kris," because the Kardashians did some sort of video, and then it randomly in the video cut to Kris Jenner, like, "Don't forget, I'm here." So for a while, there were all these jump scare Kris Jenner videos happening on TikTok. And I was like, this is great. I wish I weren't too old to partake of this because this is hilarious. And then I called my niece. I'm like, have you gotten Kris yet? And she's like, stop trying to be cool. I'm like, oh, wow. I saw it on
It's
TikTok.
a thing where, like, if I learned about it, it's already not cool. I can promise
Yeah,
you.
once
Like,
it hits my
I'm the last
For You
person
page,
to know.
like my For You page on TikTok is literally the Mother Birdie, political stuff, Nikki Blonsky, the Panic Shack girls from England doing the Janet Jackson dance, and all of the other ones that have arose from that, and hot thirst trap gays. So like a perfect For You page, frankly, on TikTok. It's like exactly all of the things are hit, right? And then people I follow. But if anything trendy, like the Kris Jenner thing, once that hits my For You page, it's so over. Because that means it has gone so far that it has somehow seeped into my very cultivated For You page.
I'm very scared of the For You page. I try not to go on it because, like, out of nowhere, there'll be like an AI generated Henry Cavill picture. And I'm like, don't, because that's all you're going to get from now on. Don't do it.
The key to TikTok, as far as if you don't want something, is you go and block it, and then it'll stop sending it to you.
That would be very handy.
It is wild. TikTok, if you watch one thing for like 30 seconds, it decides that that's your entire personality.
Yeah.
And that's
that's why you have to spend 3 hours watching all your stuff on TikTok every day. So that you can get all the stuff. It actually, though, after a while, it gets really good. I used to get a lot of anti-racism stuff, but all of the anti-racism creators I follow left the platform because of racism that they were experiencing there. So I follow them all on Instagram now, or give them money at Patreon. And really quick, political time. Last week was Juneteenth in the United States, and if you have the day off and you're not a person of Black heritage, it would be a great time for you to find your favorite Black creator and send them a few bucks and say thanks for creating stuff and being part of the minority. So happy Juneteenth. Don't say that, though. It's not our holiday. Anyway, political rant over. Because I have a couple that have been really helpful in decolonizing my mind and trying to be better. So I spent a lot of money trying to help people, keep doing the work that has helped me. So, and I don't say that to censure myself or to get accolades. I'm just saying it like it's the bare minimum we can do, peeps. Anyway, enough of that. Yeah, TikTok has been a little bit of a dumpster fire for anything like that since the ban. So
the ban that never was, that made
the 16 hours without.
Yeah.
People were very stressed out for 24 hours there, but it's just
what is weird though, and I will say, is whenever it came back, Alex and I, Black Phoenix, we message back and forth a lot on TikTok, and we both got banned for sharing sentiments about somebody named Elon Musk, or Grimes' ex-boyfriend, as he is sometimes called. And they blocked us in private message for like 24 hours, and I had to appeal a private message where I basically said he could eat my ass. So
it's a fair statement.
Yeah, well, it was fake news because I would not, let him eat my ass. So, one, he's not ready for this jelly, and two, like, that's something special for people that you like.
That's between mommies and daddies who love each other very much.
That's when you have enough trust between two people that you are just willing to go there not knowing what could happen.
Just eat ass.
Yeah, right. Anyway, there you go, peeps. That was way more than you probably wanted to know about my private life.
There's your ass eating portion of the day.
Yeah, it's covered, and it wasn't even from the people you would have expected it from today. That's us subverting expectations. I don't do that.
Standing in your truth, and
I don't do that myself. I don't have a taste for it, if you will. But other people might in my household. So and if you want a successful relationship where you are together, let's see, 9
find a
years
man who does both.
you just you explore, you let things happen that maybe you think are gross, but whatever. Like if somebody likes it, just go for it. Successful relationships are about compromise.
And ass eating.
Sometimes that's part of the compromise. Sometimes. It's not all champagne wishes and caviar dreams, if you will.
That's right. Time to get the real.
How can you tell we're almost to 2 hours? The wheels have completely come off.
We're like, let's keep it civil. And then we're like, nah.
This is pretty simple. This is relationship advice. People pay a lot of money for relationship advice. Relationship advice with Allison and friends.
He's going to save your marriage. Eat ass.
It's about the flow, because eating ass is not a first hour topic.
Yeah, you don't just come out the gate with that. Much like
you really
in a
gotta ease into it.
relationship. That's not first month thing. If that's in your first month of a relationship, that relationship is not going to last the mile.
I would disagree, but that's my.
Well, you also date a very different demographic than I do, Andrew. Now,
Fair.
in my 20s,
I date more on something.
Exactly. In my 20s, Carl number 1 through 7, 8 if we count StreamYard now. But yeah. To be fair, only one of my exes is still a homosexual, so I've done pretty well, all things considered.
You do pick them at least.
If he lived in Canada, I would hook you two up, because of my exes, he's the only one who is not a Carl.
Oh.
So he's a sweet guy. He goes to Vancouver a lot too. Anyway, we'll see what happens. He's got cats though, so which is part of why. Yeah, he's a cat person.
Does he have cash?
I think he does. He is one of the. He's the person where when we were sort of together, and I would buy toys, he would give me the side eye. Really, you're gonna spend $10 on a Star Wars, which it was 2008.
Those were the days, God.
Yeah, right. I was complaining. $9.99. That's an outrage.
I will never pay more than blank.
Right. Oh, inflation. Time. You guys, I think I'm actually going to finish Miss Bright on stream today. I mean, partly because I didn't do a full background, but and I did sort of orange. So
I have some spaceship, the McDonald's land people are going on, but I'm not terribly interested in finishing it.
Entrapta.
Ooh.
I love Entrapta.
She needs more love.
I was so excited when I saw her and bought her at KB. I spent KB toy prices in 1986 for Entrapta and promptly undid her hair. And let me tell you, that is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
I never got her back. Her hair was never right. I have my current Entrapta that I bought about 20 years ago. Still has the original hair and the disintegrating rubber bands to prove it. And it's just, I'm not going to touch it, because the second I even tried to redo those rubber bands, it's going to fall apart.
Yeah. I had, I remember when I got into She-Ra, the vintage line, I bought a whack of them. And then basically my work wife came over one night and I'm like, here's a mountain of Ritalin and some red wine. Could you braid everybody's hair? Could you just go off in these tiny little doll heads? And she was laser focused and really drunk doing it. And I was like, yes.
I need to.
Angie.
Yeah.
My friend Angie. Everybody should have an Angie, because one of her calming activities is brushing doll hair. So if you get like old dolls, she loves it. She'll be like, "Do you have any dolls I can comb out?" And I'm like, "Well, here you go." So she loves it.
That's my dog. I've got
channel.
I've got the one friend who kind of treats my dog like My Little Pony, so he just brushes him like really drunk for like hours, and hair just keeps coming out. I'm like, continue, continue. And he's right
Angie
here.
should do a channel where she just combs doll hair.
She would love that. She would, if I just bought dolls that had rough hair and gave them to her, she would be in heaven. We're talking about doing a podcast at some point because we're white people, and so if you put too many
you too.
we talked about doing Dumb Blonde with Janessa and Angie, and giving people bad relationship advice. So just like reading like "Am I the asshole" posts or having people send us their problems, because I make terrible choices. So
Yeah.
You're like, well, here's what I do, and it's the stupidest thing you could do.
I would listen to that, watch it, whatever. However it ends up being consumable. Just a second. All right, really quick. Let's see. Let's see, CJ. Everyone should have one pricey fashion Barbie. I stand by this. So if you need to save up for it, do it. But everyone should have one.
Yeah.
These are like the Christmas ones, or
there are so many high fashion ones that they do regularly. Like you should just have, if it's a Christmas one, because that's what you want, do it. But they do some really amazing fashion ones. Alaska is overrated. Agreed. But I get why people like her. She's accessible.
she's funny.
Exactly, mint with card. If you're not doing fancy, or you even doing, I would even accept somebody doing the original by Bobby Gentry from 1969. Let's see, just commentary. Let's see. Again, I'm family friendly except for the live stream. And I've never said otherwise.
No false advertising.
Oh, well, there you go. So CJ lives in a little house on the prairie, apparently. So, okay,
virgin ears.
We're wrapping up. Yeah, because we've got 7 minutes left. I'm going to erase some of my smudge. Because, But speaking of Little House on the Prairie, if you have not read Allison Ingram's Prairie Bitch, The Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, I 100% recommend. She played Nellie Olson, who was my heroine as a child.
I love Nellie.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen an episode. It was too sugary sweet. Like
it was not when Nellie was on. Nellie was literally a prairie bitch.
It was not.
Her entire existence was making fun of Laura Ingalls Wilder. But I definitely recommend her biography, because she now does. I mean, during the pandemic, she did some Zoom. Well, it was on a different platform, but she did like comedy. Her stand-up, Confessions of a Prairie Bitch, and it was very nice. She gets a very eclectic crowd of people, because there are a lot of people who really want to go back to the prairie times, right? But not for fun reasons. And she has a joke about them, and you can always tell whenever those people get mad, because suddenly the chat stalls for a second. But in her book, she talks about Melissa Sue Anderson, and how when she first met Melissa Gilbert on set, Melissa Gilbert was like, "Oh no, she's terrible." So anyway.
Damn.
And what I will say is I've read all the biographies of Melissa Sue Anderson. Melissa Gilbert, both of them, including the one where she talks about her and her husband moving to Vermont to make a cabin. That one's not as good as the one where she talks about recovering from alcohol, catching her husband in bed with Shannon Doherty. Rob Lowe, all of her boyfriend, all of it. And then Nellie, Allison Ingram, who is Nellie Olson. But Melissa Sue Anderson's book is so fucking boring. She did one of my favorite movies is a Canadian slasher, Happy Birthday to Me, where she plays Jenny, who may or may not be a deranged killer. I'm not going to spoil it because if you've never seen it, that twist ending is unhinged in the best way. And she gives that movie, which is the whole reason I wanted to read her book, right? Like 2.5 paragraphs. And like, I went to Canada. I worked with these people. It was a really fun time. We made a movie I was really proud of. I was like, this is how I know you're terrible, because you could have said so much more.
You could have actually told the truth.
She co-starred with a little-known Canadian person named Lenore Zahn. I believe that's how you say her name. She was a politician, rogue.
And rogue.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of her early acting jobs. So anyway, but read Confessions of a Prairie Bitch. That will be on Allison Book Club as well. And just in time for us to wrap up, Brick something, hello. And he's saying hello to Miss JanessaJaye. So we are toward the end of the show. It's almost 2 hours. Okay, so you just lied to us. No, just kidding. It's a lie. I'm just playing. Anyway, so Janessa, let's see all of the lovely pieces of art you did while we were here.
Yeah, I don't color backgrounds, and I have
Okay.
so I'm really fast. So
Don't apologize. Art's subjective.
yeah, we got a little entrapta situation. We have a Mermista.
Ooh.
There it is.
Fish. We've got a little action figure accurate cast display.
Very
should.
sapphic.
Yes. And then my favorite is I am also a Pizzazz fan.
Yes.
Ooh.
The Misfits were right. Their songs are better. And so
They kind of are.
It's true.
yeah.
And she's having a day.
Goody.
And she's having a tough day.
All right, let's see. And then Andrew. Oh, wait, it's not going to let me easily. There we go. Exit solo layout. I'll figure this out just in time to change programs. Andrew?
All right. So I couldn't finish the spaceship, but I got
Oh, my God.
the McDonald's crew. I'm happy enough. I learned a lot about Captain Crook right now, so I didn't really know the pirate guy that well, but
And
interesting
sadly, this is not the first time Andrew's been unable to finish, but it is the first time on this show he's been unable to finish.
the 40s have been rough, let me tell you.
Anyway, there we go. We got to end non-family friendly. I'll make mine big and mine at the end before we leave. So really quick, Andrew, what do you have coming up that people should watch?
That's a good question. So yesterday I did finally my final Secret Wars retrospective on MIA 80s ladies. So we finished off all the ladies who were in the comic, but not like none of them are in the cartoon or the action figure line. And next week is going to be Defenders of the Earth Jeddah, which is a property that I don't love, but I had to talk about. So show it some love.
Somebody's got to do it.
Someone's gonna do it.
All right. JanessaJaye, Champagne.
Yep. Well, my most recent video is unboxing. I'm wearing this lovely necklace here. I bought some mystery boxes from the Crystal Smith. And so I unboxed 2 mystery items, including this beautiful necklace from the Crystal Smith. And my next video, I don't know exactly. June is always wild. So it's whenever I get it done. But I get Ratchet with me where I do this makeup look that I'm wearing today, which is the Teletubbies collection from Trixie Cosmetics.
I've heard of this.
So it's wild.
It's really good. It has a very Mardi Gras feel to it, and that's not a bad thing at all.
Yeah,
and you've got some beads on, so you know.
That's kind of what's going on with me. And you can always go to my website, JanessaJaye.com. We've got all kinds of good content over there.
And
Yeah.
if people are in your neck of the woods, is like your schedule if somebody wants to go see one of your shows on your website?
Usually I post on Facebook. I don't have anything scheduled for a little while now because the next one, I'm the show director down in Bismarck. And so the next big show will be like October.
Okay.
And I'm getting old. I'm a geriatric drag queen. So I try to avoid summer drag as much as possible. So I've already done a slate of Pride shows, and now I'll kind of be cocooning in the air conditioning probably until like late August, September.
The only summer drag that should happen this year is Katy Perry. Remember, she went in a spaceship, y'all, and she did those terrible shows. She's Denise. She's Denise. All right. Really quickly, what I got coming is tomorrow. Princess of Power, Who's Who, Color and Chill Spectacular, 4 Princess of Power pages. I've got shorts this week from Blade Runner. I'm excited about these. Please try to check those out. 3 of them are actually art that I drew again for a little bit. And one of them, my good friend Dora Raymaker, who is an author and does a lot of activism and work in autism spaces because she is neurodivergent. So it's herself working for her community to make things better. She drew an original page of Pruss from Blade Runner that will be on Saturday. Drew it for me specifically because I'm like, I have this idea, but she's like, this is my favorite character. Can I do? And I'm like, yes, please. She's also in my writers group, so whenever I eventually release my novel, if you don't like it, she's to blame. And then Friday, Katra spying on Bo and Adora, Color and Chill. And on Wednesday, a very special retro cavalcade with Andrew, Derek J. Hoover, and Kyle Wobegon, formerly of Super 7, and we're going to be talking music action figures we want. I think that's it. I mean, there's a lot more, but anything more and it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Why, thank you. And everyone should go in October and the fall to see JanessaJaye. I will probably have JanessaJaye back before then, so I'll figure out a return. And Andrew, of course, will always be back because he cannot escape.
I'm always around lurking.
I may or may not have bought his soul like at a club. So. He just needed that extra shot of cocaine. And you know, whatever. That's what I do. Anyway.
It's related to poppers, and I'm like, you got any?
And he thought it was the Ghostbuster toy, and it was not. Did you know they did finger popping fiends in the real Ghostbusters line in 1990? And 1989. And I'm going to tell you, do not Google finger popping fiends with your safe search off. Just putting that out there. Anyway, on that note, we're going to head out. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. Please remember to do all the YouTube things, like, subscribe, leave a comment, notify bell, punch a Nazi in the face, this stuff, all the stuff. And on that note, we are going to go. We will see you next time.
I haven't made up my mind yet. Incidentally, which one of you bitches is my mother?